This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
Rooker, it's a fly ball to deep center. Robert going back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Adolis Garcia swings on the other way. That sends Caray back. He's at the wall. And the legend grows. Ronald Acuna, another milestone in a truly historic season.
Julio with an absolute nuke out to left field.
It's Glaber Day. And like a good Glaber, Torres is there.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe. From humidors to Stuff Plus to walk-off dingers, we have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. I need to get my media pass off. Sorry about that. Let's do this again. We have a lot to talk about today here on A's Cast Live. Busy day on Jackie Robinson Day. Dave Stewart, the A's. We got a lot of A's legends today. Dave Stewart's going to join us coming up here at 4:15. I believe Max Schuemann is going to make his debut with us right after batting practice. Chip Caray, legendary voice television broadcaster in our game, is going to be here to talk about his son, Chris. And we'll talk a little Cardinal baseball coming up here at 5 o'clock. And then our A's historian, Dave Feldman, will be here at 5:15. And as a day that we're celebrating Jackie Robinson and what he did for baseball and really what he did for our country, we are going to talk, unfortunately, about the passing of an A's great. Today, Ken Holtzman passed away, the left-hander, and such a huge part of this franchise winning 3 straight championships. Only 2 franchises in the history of baseball have won 3 straight championships. That's the Yankees and the Athletics. And we always talk about, if you're going to tell the history of baseball and you go through the timeline of the history of baseball from Philadelphia to Oakland, you can't tell the history of baseball without talking about the Athletics, whether it's Philadelphia or Oakland. And Ken Holtzman was on a team that had a lot of great players and a lot of stars and guys that would go on to be Hall of Famers. But Ken Holtzman is one of the reasons why, when they got him for Rick Monday and the Athletics brought him over from Chicago, he was a huge part of the rotation, pitched in so many big postseason games. Ken Holtzman is going to be missed. I got to interview him twice. A very bright guy, great sense of humor. I know his teammates loved him, and we bring on one of his teammates, truly one of the greatest pitchers. I think you can make a case the greatest reliever of all time. But the great Rollie Fingers is with us. Rollie, I feel so bad for you guys as you lose one of your brothers today. I know Ken Holtzman meant a lot to you. He meant a lot to the club. It's a very tough day in the A's family.
For sure. Kenny was probably one of the best trades that Charlie Finley ever made. He had a kind of a bad year in Chicago in 1971. I think he only won 9 games, and he didn't get along real good with Leo DeRocher. He got upset with Leo all the time. So Charlie picked him up for a pretty reasonable price back in 1972. And I tell you what, he was one of the biggest parts of the puzzle that we had in Oakland in those 72, 73, and 74 World Series years. He won four World Series games for us in that time, and I think he won almost 60 games in those 3 years that he pitched. So he was our number 2 guy behind Catfish Hunter. Him and Vita Blue were probably about the same comparable as far as pitching and getting wins and stuff. But Kenny filled a big hole in the starting lineup that we had. He completed a lot of games, and he was a good friend of mine. He was my roommate for 3 years, so he was really bright, a great guy, liked to joke around a lot, and he taught me how to play bridge.
Yes,
he loved to play bridge, and so when he got to the Oakland A's in '72, there was no one that played bridge. All we did was play spades and hearts. That was about it in the clubhouse. And so he taught me how to play bridge, and we got to the point where we would we would fly into other cities and we'd pick up the newspaper and see where there was a bridge tournament. And we had it down. We'd go in and we were playing against all the gray-haired ladies and old men and beating the hell out of them.
It's so funny you say that because Deetra Page, who's a longtime great Oakland Athletics employee, and she deals with all of you ex-players, and Deetra told me to ask you about how Kenny taught you how to play bridge and how she said you guys would play the old ladies. I mean, the bond that the two of you had was so special.
Oh yeah, no, we had a lot of fun doing it. I mean, we and then we had to teach. We had to end up teaching 3 or 4 other guys on the A's. I think we taught Gene Dick Green and Chuck Dobson and a couple of other guys how to play bridge. So we had someone to play with in the clubhouse. We'd go out to the ballparks on road trips, and for a night we'd get there about noon, and we sat and play bridge for 3 or 4 hours before the game. We really got into it, and I mean, I think we had some master points. We beat the heck out of everybody. We had a precision system of bidding. And we did real good at it. It was a lot of fun.
You know, when you think of obviously Catfish Hunter and Vida Blue, who in 71 just became an American sports star, you had yourself with the mustache and you're doing your thing coming out of the bullpen, and you got Reggie Jackson, who's an MVP. You had all these stars that are on the team, but just talk about, as you said, him complimenting, but really coming in and winning all those World Series and playoff games, how just instrumental he was to winning the 3 championships.
Oh, big. He won. I know he threw one shutout against Baltimore. I think it was in the 73 playoffs. He threw a shutout. I think it was a 10 or 11 inning shutout. It was unbelievable. And then he started, I think he started each of the World Series games in each year in 72, 3, and 4. I'm not sure about 72. Maybe Catfish started in 72, but he had 4 wins in the World Series, 4 wins and 1 loss, and he pitched well. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better guy. He wasn't overpowering, had a great curveball and outstanding control, and he could move the ball around. He knew what he was doing out there. He was a smart guy.
Well, Ray Fosse always told me one of the things that made him so good and made the defense so good around him was how fast he worked. Like, he was one of the fastest. Pitch clock wouldn't have been a problem for Ken Holtzman today. He wanted to get it, chuck it, and he wanted to be out of there. I mean, it's hard for baseball fans to even think about this. Kenny Holtzman wanted to be out of there well before the 2-hour mark.
Oh yeah, when he got the ball back, when it hit the catcher's glove, he knew what he was going to throw on the next pitch. I mean, he got it back, got on the mound, and threw it. He usually pitched real quick ball games, and but he had great control. He knew what he was doing out there. He knew how to pitch, and that's something you can't teach. You have to learn how to pitch, and he did it well.
I know you and I did an event earlier this year down at Fantasy Camp, and I know I asked you that question, but this is for the entire fan base. These guys meant so much to you. You guys grew up together. Your families grew up together. Just how tough is it just the past few years, whether it's Vida or it's Ray and now it's Ken, just to lose these guys who've meant so much to you in your life?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the years that I spent in Oakland with those guys, oh, geez, going back to 1968 when we first started, we all came up through the minor leagues together. This was before free agency. So me and Reggie and Joe Rudy, we came up from Birmingham, Alabama, and Modesto, California. We played in the California League, and all these guys went through the Midwest League. I think Gene Tennis was in Iowa. I mean, we all hit the big leagues just about the same time. We all hit the big leagues right around 69, 70, 71. And we played a couple of years, together, and then everything just gelled in 1971. Getting Vida was just unbelievable in 1971. I mean, I would go down to the bullpen and just watch him warm up, and I would just walk back down to the dugout and say, "Game's over, boys." I mean, he's throwing the ball 97, 98 miles an hour, and he's moving it in, out, up, down, and breaking big. I mean, there was no way no one's going to hit him that day. I just knew it. But we've lost some guys. We just lost Vida Blue and Ray Fosse. We lost Sal Bando.
Yes,
I mean, all these guys. were great ball players, and they were a big part of that winning team in the 1972 3-4 World Series.
When you were throwing baseballs on the field at Charlie Finley, was that with Ken Holtzman too?
Oh, that was Kenny. Yeah, Kenny and I hated Charlie. He gave us our World Series rings after the 1973 season. He didn't put a diamond in it. Everybody was upset. Everybody hated Charlie, and he never came down on the field. He knew because everybody hated him. And opening day in Oakland in '74, me and Kenny are in right field shagging balls during batting practice, and I look over in the dugout, third base dugout. We're standing in right field at the Coliseum, and I said, Holtzy, look over there. There's Charlie. He's in the dugout doing a TV interview. So I said, keep a couple balls in your pocket. So we got a couple balls in our pocket, and on the count of three, we wound up and threw two each right at him from right field. And then we laid down and started doing setups. By the time the balls got to the dugout, he had no idea where they came from. And nobody squealed on us. Everybody knew we did it, but no one said a word.
The stories are legendary, and we'll end on this. I just said it before you came on. You can't tell the history of baseball without the Athletics. Obviously, back in Philadelphia in the World Series championships, but the history of baseball with you guys winning 3 straight. What does that mean to you? When you look at the timeline of baseball, you can't tell baseball's history without talking about your group.
Oh no, we just had a great team. We didn't make any mistakes. Fundamentally, we always backed up our bases. We threw to the right bags. We just did everything right, and we moved runners over. We didn't blow out a lot of teams. We didn't win ball games 10-2. We were 4-3, 2-1, 1-0. We won on our pitching because we had a great pitching staff. I think we had a team ERA of like 2.4. Nobody could hit us. We just had a great pitching staff, and but those 3 years looking back, you don't think about it at the time, just how good you were. But we look back, we all look back now and say, dang, we won 3 in a row, and the only other team to do that's been the Yankees. So we knew we had a good team, but I would put our ball club up against anybody.
Well, it's always big when we're able to get you on and what you mean to this fan base, what you mean to the history of this franchise. We got to see it, recently when you were with the team down in Vegas, you and I at fantasy camp and doing that interview, how much everybody loved it. So it's always a treat to have you on. I wish it was under better circumstances, but Rollie, thank you for always being gracious with your time and coming on A's Cast Live and doing the things that we do, whether it's on this show or when we do other things. It's always really special.
Nope, I have no problem. I enjoy doing it. Thank you.
Take care, Rollie. One of the great pitchers in the history of the game, Rollie Fingers. And when we were doing the interview for the campers, that's another reason why you come to fantasy camp. Guys like this show up. You got like Dave Stewart, who's, by the way, going to be next. But you got Dave Stewart, you got Carney Lansford, you got Terry Steinbach. These are World Series champions, A's greats, A's Hall of Famers in their own right. I get up on that stage, and Rollie Fingers gets up there, and everybody in the room, just not the campers, but the instructors, I could bring Dallas Braden was just around here a little bit ago. They're all sitting there just listening to everything Rollie says like they're little kids. Because Dave Stewart grew up in the Bay Area. Carney Lansford grew up in the Bay Area. They grew up watching these World Series teams. They know the greatness of Rollie Fingers. And I'm sitting up there with Rollie watching this going, wow, these guys are all just, they're like, and I'm like a little kid telling the stories. He's Rollie Fingers. You can make a case. If you go through the numbers, he's the greatest reliever of all time. And I know the Mariano Rivera crowd's going, what? If you look at the numbers and you look at the volume, there's a reason why Rollie is also one of the very few relievers in Cooperstown. You look at the volume, it's undeniable. But the game changes. You got to have contacts. And that's why you got to give his group, just like when we're going to talk about the greatness of Jackie Robinson and their era, you got to look at things with context because things change, games change. Because, I think obviously what And once again, we thank Rollie, and it's very sad that we lost Ken Holtzman today. We'll get more into Ken Holtzman coming up here in just a little bit, because it's an odd day from the standpoint of we're going to celebrate Jackie Robinson, but we're going to mourn the passing of the great Ken Holtzman. They did a great job today on MLB Network. We're always going to talk about the significance of Jackie Robinson in this country, just not from a sports standpoint, but from a social standpoint. Jackie Robinson helped promote change much. Right now, we just talk about baseball, and it's kind of ridiculous because his impact was far greater than baseball. I know I'm going to mention this with Dave Stewart, but a lot of people don't know this, that our own United States military had not integrated yet. Baseball did it before the United States military. Jackie Robinson changing baseball helped change other aspects in our country. The social change that he helped get through and help make happen is really far greater than integrating baseball. But for some reason, we just want to focus on baseball. Jackie Robinson is a true American hero. And he's a great example of what you can do as a person and make change. His unbelievable career at UCLA, his unbelievable career as a professional, an unbelievable person to help social injustice, to help social change in this country. But MLB Network did do a really good job today going, we get all that. How about how good he was as a player? And you look at Jackie Robinson's peak. He was an on-base machine. What does he do?
He gets on base.
He gets on base. And he steals bases. And he's obviously extremely athletic. I mean, everybody likes to tell you that baseball wasn't his best sport, whether it was track or it was basketball or it was football at UCLA. He was unbelievable. He got on base and he stole bases. His MVP year is unreal. I believe it was give me his 1949 statistics. Because he drives in 100 runs. His on base was like 430. It's through the roof, his MVP year of 1949. Was it 49 was MVP, right?
Hold on, I'm looking. Yes, he was the MVP that year. He played in 156 games, hit 342, 16 home runs, 124 runs driven in, 37 steals, and an OPS of 960. It's a nice little year, I would say.
Yeah, and I've told this before. We're talking 40s baseball, and I bring up my grandfather all the time, Bob Elliott, the first third baseman ever to be the MVP in baseball. I have there's a connection between my grandfather and Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson's first ever game was against the Boston Braves. Jackie Robinson's first at bat in baseball, he grounded out to my grandfather, third base. So I've had people over the years send me stuff, the historical things about Jackie Robinson's first game. And if you watch the movie 42, they show the lineups, you'll see my grandfather's name. But yeah, my grandfather will always be connected to Jackie Robinson, playing in that era, playing against him a lot. But his first at-bat, which was a historical first at-bat, he grounded out to my grandfather.
I always enjoy when you tell that story because it has a great tie to your family and how good of a player your grandfather was, and then obviously Jackie Robinson and what he did. And it's I always enjoy this day because it's of honoring Jackie. But obviously, you mentioned it's kind of sad because of the passing of Ken Holtzman. So yeah. It's kind of it's hard to fully be excited because of what happened in our community, when the A's community with Ken Holtzman. So, but still a great day for Jackie Robinson in baseball and just I think people overall. So. Always look forward to this day every single year. Everyone's going to wear number 42. Last player to wear it, obviously, Mariano Rivera. No, not Mo Vaughn. I know a lot of people think Mo Vaughn was a guy. I mean,
I didn't even know Mo Vaughn wore 42.
But yeah, Mariano Rivera, last player to wear it because he was kind of like
Hindu wore 42.
Yeah, there was. I didn't get a chance to see
42 is not a number you really. I mean, most guys who wear 42.
Yeah,
Usually are not your star players, the guys who are wearing number 42.
Yeah, and I looked at there was an article. I didn't get a chance to look at it. I saw it pop up on MLB.com, but it was like every player to wear number 42, like, before they retired the number officially, like who were the last players to wear, I think, for like every team. And
I mean, Hendu was a legit 42.
Hendu was on there for us. I saw he was one of the headliners on the front page of MLB.com.
Oh, yeah. I saw that article. I
didn't get a chance to click on it, but I saw
it's 8 players.
It was
the 8 really good players right before they retired the number. The guys that Mo Vaughn was on there. Hendu was on there. I just remember Hendu wore 42.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a legit number 42. But the other thing, too, about these players, and it's one of the things that kind of rubs me wrong, because obviously that's when my grandfather played in that era, is when we look at baseball today and we look at everybody throwing 100 miles an hour, and we look at all the different relievers who are coming in, and we look how just athletes have changed, bigger, stronger, faster, and all this kind. And we try and act like these players couldn't have played today. And I always, it rubs me wrong. And watching MLB Now today, and they were talking about the versatility, which I'm going to get into in a second before we get to Dave Stewart. They talked about talk about Jackie's versatility. He had to move around. They talk about Gil Hodges coming back to the team. Do you know where Gil Hodges was coming from, Cody?
No.
The Marines.
Oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense. I mean,
these
40s,
guys fought in wars.
Ted Williams.
For God's sakes, Ted Williams was flying fighter jets. Jerry Coleman, fighter jets. Bob Feller was in the Navy on boats. I mean, these guys were fighting in war. And you're going to sit here and talk, well, they didn't face a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, did you go fight in combat? I don't think any of these guys are going to fight in combat. All right? Let's have some respect for that generation of people that fought for this country. Who and a lot of them, whether it was like right after Pearl Harbor, they went and enlisted. They didn't wait to get drafted. They went and enlisted to go fight for their country. And you want to talk about with these players now? Are you kidding me? I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but, I mean, you want to talk about soft. Guys going on the IL all the time and how we got to baby these guys and we got to worry about how many innings and we got to load management. These guys went and fought in war and then came back and continued their career. People, I don't know if Ted Williams is the greatest. You realize how many at-bats he lost fighting in war?
A lot. It was like
prime
4 years,
of his
right?
career, his prime years, his numbers, he'd be the all-time home run leader, the all-time RBI leader. Nobody hit like this guy, but he went and fought war twice. Two different conflicts. He crashed a jet in Korea. And you're going to tell me these guys they're on the IL because of a fingernail? We've had fingernail problems. We've had abdominal problems, obliques. These guys went and fought in combat where people are dying. And you're gonna talk about how tough it is to play today? Are you kidding me? Where we have people complaining that they only got 24. Well, Boris only got him $25 million a year for 2 years with an opt-out. Oh, this poor guy. Poor guy, were you go fighting Germans in World War II? Were you fighting in the Pacific against the Japanese? Were you fighting in Korea? Were you fighting in Vietnam? And we're talking about, this poor guy only got $32 million for 1 year? Shame on you people for saying this kind of stuff, for what yesteryear players went through. Oh, basketball players, football players, what they went through, what they had to deal with compared to now, it's a joke. It just drives me nuts. And yes, Jackie Robinson served. Jackie Robinson is an American hero, just not for baseball. But once again, we get back to a great player. Remember, Jackie Robinson, when he first came up, where did he play?
Second base.
Played first.
Oh.
Played first. They were stacked. The Dodgers were stacked. He played first, then he went to second, then he played outfield, then he played third. His versatility, Branch Rickey, when you think of like how Bill Walsh was the genius in the NFL, Branch Rickey really was the genius in baseball, right? The way he built those Dodgers back in the day as the Yankees were all about the power, he built it on speed, on defense, on pitching. Jackie Robinson would be perfect for modern day baseball. He can play all over the diamond. He's a superior athlete. And what does he do? He gets on base and he can hit. You take like those 4 or 5 years of his peak, Jackie Robinson, by the way, Jackie Robinson went in with Bob Feller. First ballot Hall of Famer. He and Bob Feller. Unbelievable. Let's play Dave Stewart. A's Hall of Famer Dave Stewart. Well, obviously, we were going to talk to Dave about Jackie Robinson, but unfortunately, with the passing of A's legend, I mean, Ken Holtzman is an absolute legend, a 3-time World Series champion. Dave, of course, grew up here in Oakland, grew up watching these teams, idolizing these guys. So we're going to talk to Dave about Ken Holtzman and Jackie Robinson. We're on A's Cast Live. It's always an honor to have on one of the greatest Oakland A's of all time. He's in the Oakland A's Hall of Fame. He's a 3-time World Series champion, one of the great big game pitchers, but he's done everything in this game, whether it's being an agent, it's being a coach, a terrific pitching coach. Dave Stewart is with us once again. Stu, it's been a while. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely outstanding. How about you?
I'm doing great, and I know you guys are going to have a special broadcast today on Jackie Robinson Day, NBC Sports California, coming up at 5 o'clock. Before we talk about that, though, truly one of the greats, Ken Holtzman, in this franchise's history. He won 3 World Series titles with the Athletics. He pitched so many big postseason games. You grew up watching the left-hander pitch. He passes today, very sad, but I think we will all remember him as truly, when you talk about you were a big game pitcher, he also was a big game pitcher. Talk about Ken Holtzman.
Well, it's really disappointing to hear the news, and obviously my condolences and prayers to his family. I just got off the phone, believe it or not, with Blue Moon Odom. And that was the topic of our discussion. We talked about Ken Holtzman and what he meant to the teams, the 72, 73, 74 teams, how great of a teammate he was. Obviously, I got a chance to see him compete and how competitive he was from a fan standpoint. But Blue Moon said he was one of the best teammates he's ever had.
And he started so many of the big games in the postseason. While everybody was talking about Catfish and Vida was a national star, so many of those big games were won and pitched by Ken Holtzman.
That's right. He was right in the middle. You had him, you had Catfish. Obviously, we had Blue Moon. Vida was a big piece of all of that. And, you know, we talk about how he pitched, but, you know, I was saying it to you before we came on the show, he could swing the bat too.
Yeah.
he could do it both ways.
Yeah, all those guys could. That was great. Like, you look, Vida could hit, Catfish could hit. We're going to play an interview a little bit later here on the program where Ray Fosse is talking to Ken Holtzman, how they both hit a home run in the World Series. And it's just so sad that we have lost so many. You know, we just lost recently Vida Blue. Now we're talking about Ken Holtzman, of course, our own beloved Ray Fosse. I mean, these are guys that meant so much to you growing up. As a kid who grew up in Oakland, you idolized these guys. They made you so proud to be from Oakland, watching all these championships.
Yeah, I mean, they set a level of excellence that, you know, made it really difficult for the teams that came behind them. For a lot of teams, period, in baseball, to win back-to-back world championships, to really, they were trendsetters in the game of baseball, those A's teams. Their rotations, when you look at the guys and the amount of innings that they were putting up, the complete games, just the tenacity of those teams, you know, to be a part of that and to be a main cog of that, which Kenny Holtzman was, it's just unbelievable, man.
Yeah, he'll definitely be missed. I got to interview him a couple of times. You could tell when you interviewed him, he was a bright guy. He was a bright man, had a great sense of humor. He'll definitely be missed. Today at 5 o'clock, you guys are going to be doing a special pregame on A's Pregame Live, NBC Sports California, to honor the great Jackie Robinson. And when you think about Jackie's significance, obviously we'll talk about baseball. We'll talk about being a Hall of Famer. But truly what baseball and Jackie Robinson did, it helped change our country in a lot of ways. And a lot of people don't focus enough on that. Baseball broke the color barrier with Jackie Robinson, and it was after that then our own military would change because of Jackie Robinson. His significance was far greater, Dave, than just baseball.
And you know, you're right, Tony. A lot of people don't really understand and recognize what he did in his part, the part he played in social justice in a period of time when there was no social justice. you know, standing up and being a spokesperson for equality was a difficult thing in that period of time. But he did it just as he did in the game of baseball. When he came into the game of baseball, he was one of one and endured so many things to be the example for all of the black players that would follow him. It's just unbelievable what he did for the game, what he did for us socially, just his impact on our nation.
When you were a young man coming up in the game, how much did you think about Jackie Robinson, and how much was he an inspiration to you?
You know, I came up in a period where we were close enough. And what I mean by that is I came into professional baseball in 1975. And so a lot of the people that I came into the game getting to know and was introduced to knew Jackie Robinson, Don Newcomb, Roy Campanella, were guys that knew him and teammates of his. You know, Bob Gibson, who had impact on my life, knew him. Willie Mays, who I had a chance to meet when I was younger, knew and spoke of him. You know, Dusty Baker carried on conversations from Hank Aaron about Jackie Robinson. So I was surrounded by word of Jackie, knowledge of Jackie, and the man Jackie through the people that I played with, played against, or mentors.
Yeah, people forget that you came up with the Dodgers, and really the Dodgers play such a big, and the Brooklyn Dodgers playing such a big part in the American fabric with a lot of decisions that they make. They don't really get a lot of credit for that.
No, they don't. But, you know, a lot of it has to do with just today's baseball and how the Dodgers are and what they look like organizationally now. I think Mookie Betts and Hayward are the two lone American players in their organization. But baseball as a whole, as we know, the numbers are lower and lower when it comes to Afro-American players. And so, you know, when you look at the Dodgers, you know, for that matter, you know, one of Jackie's last words publicly was being able to see a black manager in the dugout. But it even goes further than that. The Dodgers broke the color barrier with Jackie. You know, when we speak of office management and upper management being able to make those decisions, you have to look at all organizations and see what are they really doing for minorities.
You know, another guy that I always like to bring up on this day is Larry Doby. Larry Doby had a terrific career, whether it was as a player, post player, manager. And Larry Doby did basically what Jackie Robinson did in the American League just months after, and we never talk enough about him. I wish we would talk more about Larry Doby. Obviously, so much focus on Jackie, rightfully so, but I think we also missed the boat not talking about Larry Doby enough because he went through the exact same thing in the American League.
You're right, he did. And you're right. Once again, we know who Larry Doby is, but most people, if you ask them, you know, what was his impact, they would minimize him in comparison to Jackie because Jackie was the first. But Jackie was the first in the American League. Larry Doby was the first Jackie was the first in the National League. Larry Doby was the first in the American League. And the battles were the same. And what he stood for and his example was also a door opener for the rest of the Afro-American players that would come behind.
And I think about even in your day, it's tough to stand for stuff, especially when you're a high-profile guy, you're a star player, you're an all-star player, you're a World Series champion. Just talk about when you're in that public spotlight, it's hard to stand up for something because there's a lot of criticism that comes with that.
Well, there's criticism, and you know, a lot of players think about their livelihood being taken away from them, which you have every right to do that. You know, I'd like to think that we're in a better day and better time now, but in the 60s, the 70s, and even going into the 80s and the 90s, those things still remain in the game. Is the game better now? Yes. But are there still similarities? Yes. You have to be careful of the things that you stand for, the things that you represent in the game of baseball. And I guess the best way to put it is when you decide that you're going to take a stance, you're going to take a position, then you have to also know that you may be alone. And so if you're afraid to stand alone doing something, then you're not in the right place. But when you, as they say, if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing.
Well, when you do, you get that thing called the Roberto Clemente Award, which is one of the great honors in our game, which you have won, obviously, for all the great work that you used to do and what you continue to do, not only in this community, but a lot of different communities. Let's end on this, because a little bit later on today, you're going to be doing what we're doing now, is getting ready for A's baseball. They've won 6 of 8 after that horrific start. Because, Dave, we were down at spring training, and we were all buying with their, hey, the team's going to be different, and trust us. And I was like, you know what? I think you're more athletic. I think this team's going to pitch better. But that horrific start, you had a bad taste in your mouth from last season. You're like, oh, boy. But all of a sudden, winning 3 straight series, having won 6 of 8, there is some excitement around this team. I know it's an early start, but what do you see so far?
Well, Tony, you're right. Early on, they showed signs of exactly how they played early last year. Early last year, they couldn't catch the ball, threw to the wrong bases, weren't hitting very well. Pitching was not bad. Bullpen was bad. It was just a combination of bad baseball, which equaled 100-plus losses. I don't see this team losing 100-plus games. I don't see them losing close to 100 games. I don't think that they're going to be a 500 team, but I think that they're going to make a big difference. They're going to have something that they can look on at the end of the year and say that this was a building block for where we want to be in 2025. And you never know. I mean, you got a dugout full of kids and you got a pitching staff. They believe that they're capable of doing something great. And when you're ignorant, that's bliss, as they say. So to me, I love this baseball team. I love these kids. I love their resilience. I love how they're playing baseball right now. And I think that it's a character builder for them that could last throughout the season.
Yeah, always be aware of somebody who really believes. People who really believe can be dangerous.
It's tough to beat. It's tough to beat somebody when their belief in themselves is bigger than your belief in yourself.
Stu, you're the best. We always appreciate your time. Obviously, today is going to be a very special pregame show on NBC Sports California at 5 o'clock. Have a great broadcast, and we'll talk soon.
Take care, Tony. Thank you.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Whether it's a midweek trip to the ballpark to catch a game or a weekend of baseball for the family, grab your tickets for an A's game this season. Secure your seats today for all the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more. Don't miss out on all the things happening this season.
Rose and Seth. It's a drive into center. It's deep, and Straw is back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
So grab yours now at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
This is Chris Townsend. I'm proud to announce our year 2 partnership with Link Soul. They've changed my wardrobe, and they can do the same for you. And right now, their spring collection is fabulous. Natural fabrics and versatile styles, perfect for this time of the year. And they want to introduce their performance line for golf, premium for on-course apparel design, and to keep you cool and dry. Check it all out, linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com. Remember, look good, play good.
With more sunshine returning, it's time to get outside and make the most of what Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer. Like 27 championship caliber holes tucked in the beautiful hills of San Jose. And take advantage of their amazing Bay Area views for your next special event. It's all for you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club, an award-winning venue designed to peacefully take you away from the bustle of Silicon Valley. Go to CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
You deserve extra. Extra Mile is where you get it. You don't just deserve breakfast. You deserve extra fresh Mile 1 coffee just the way you like it. You deserve more than a quick bite. You deserve an extra satisfying array of hot foods, extra good snacks, and fountain drinks that help you go the extra mile. Plus, with Extra Mile rewards, you can earn free stuff. Visit Extra Mile at select Chevron and Texaco locations. See program terms and conditions for details.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
And the underdogs Oakland Athletics win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Rollie Fingers, Hall of Famer, 3-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ for me or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
A's Cast Live continues from Ricky Henderson Field. Here's Chris Townsend.
You want to know why I ask? Because I just don't want certain people getting scanned. I want everybody scanned. Yeah. Show your face. We talk about you all the time. Come here. Show your face. Show your face. Come on now. There he is. There he is.
This is the man that keeps the
The
Coliseum
man,
safe.
the myth, the legend.
Roy.
I'm going to tell you right now, when he's not here, I don't feel safe.
Not at all.
It's the bottom line.
When he's on here, I didn't know Roy took days off. So when he's on here, it's really surprising.
Well, when he takes days off, he's somewhere else making more money.
Well, I heard last time he wasn't here, he was at Springsteen or, some kind of rock show.
Roy's about making money. We've learned that over the years.
Well,
he's out there making money. Not like you.
Well, I don't make any money.
Working for somebody else. He's out there making money.
He's in the good. He's Roy. He's a legend here.
He's an absolute legend. What do we got coming? So we have Chip Caray coming up at 5 o'clock, right?
Correct, yes.
And then Max Schuemann is – where's Max Schuemann?
Still doing BP, I think.
We're still waiting for Ricky Henderson, by the way. We're not sure when Ricky is going to come over. Ricky is in uniform. He's going to show up at some point. We just don't know when he's going to show up. Probably the interesting news of the day is Uri Ruiz is here. Right now I'm looking at him. Ruiz is entering the cage as we speak.
Yeah, there's a quote. Martine had it. Let me pull it up on my phone because I'm not by the computer.
He's not
now.
being activated.
No. Let me get the direct quote from Martine since I can't get it from the computer. Costas said Esty is here in case J.D. Davis had to go on the injured list. Davis's MRI came back clean, but they're waiting until tomorrow to decide whether or not to place him on the injured list. Remember, Vegas is off today, so they have till tomorrow to figure that out. I don't know if Vegas is at home. No, Vegas is probably on the road.
Well, I mean, Esty's got to get back to Vegas because we were told he needs to play every day.
That is a fact. He has
Vegas has the day off today.
He does have over 1,000 OPS in Vegas.
Is he hitting the ball hard enough?
I don't know if you can track exit velocities on Baseball Savant in AAA.
Well, I know our manager was on with the Mad Dog today on High Heat, Chris Russo, and he talked about the home run was like 420 feet. Was it hit hard enough? We don't know, as you say, Ken. Was it hit hard enough for their liking?
I don't know. I haven't seen the StatCast numbers. I don't know if we don't have access to that. We're not privy to that information, unfortunately.
They have it.
Oh yeah. Well, they have TrackMan or whatever it is they use on there.
Yeah. Well, if we're looking at his swing, I talked to you about the chicken wing. They want him to be down. Like if this is my bat, they want to be down on the ball, bring the barrel down to the ball, and not to be this way. It's a big thing for them.
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
According to Mark Kotze, what he told us on the Mark Kotze show right here on A's Cast Live.
Well, once he comes back, hopefully he stays and he's in the lineup every single day. Not, hey, come back and we'll play sporadically.
Yeah, you'll play, you'll pinch run. I mean, it's the real. And once again,
there's Max right there.
The service time manipulation rumor. Yeah. Him being here, doesn't that show that that's garbage?
Yes.
I couldn't believe when that got brought up on X. And then one of my great callers, Mustang Matt, brought it up. And I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. Max Schuemann's joining us right now. I couldn't believe it. But that is something that people floated out there that obviously is not true. If he's here, it's not happening. How are you?
How we doing?
Welcome to A's Cast Live.
Yeah, appreciate it.
How is everything?
Freaking awesome, man.
You're in the big leagues.
I know. Can't beat it.
And, you're scoring the game-winning run. I'm like, how many guys come in extra innings with the new rule and their first ever action, they score the winning run? That probably really hasn't happened a lot in the history. Just not the new rule, but coming in, pinch running, scoring the game-winning run, your first action. That probably hasn't happened really at all in the history of baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be the one to ask about that, but yeah.
What was it like?
Honestly, I had a pretty good feeling once we went to extras that I was going to find myself in the game. I feel like that's kind of my role, is to pinch run or defensive replacement, something like that. So yeah, I mean, it was a pretty fun feeling. Like, it was cool to have my parents and family in town and friends. But yeah, it was, couldn't really feel my legs when I stepped on second base. I'm not going to lie. So.
Is it like, it's so euphoric, right? I'm
Right.
in the big leagues. I'm in a game. And it's not like it's the first inning.
Right.
You're in crucial time.
My run matters. Exactly.
Like, was there a point where, like, you're standing on second base, you're like, just don't screw it up?
No, not really. I mean, the advice I got out there, Bushy was telling me, is like, just be smart. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
And so, I was just making sure my lead stayed short, and then just trust my instincts at that point. Saw the ball off the bat, and I was motoring.
When you crossed home plate, everybody's coming at you. What was that like?
It was pretty cool. It wasn't necessarily me. It was more me trying to find Law on the field. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool that Law was the one to hit me in, with him being, in my 2018 draft class.
Yeah.
So like, just seeing him grow as a player throughout the years, and for him to step up to the plate and have all the confidence in the world to get the job done, it was a pretty cool moment.
What was the conversation with Fran Reardon like when you got the news you're getting called up?
He got me pretty good. He looked pretty pissed off when he called me in his office, and I was like, geez, man, like, what did I do? I don't know. I've had a couple moments like that with Fran before, so it was just like, oh man, like, I've seen this face before.
Well, you've had we only get the warm and fuzzy Fran Reardon. We start talking about the Buffalo Bills.
No,
and,
he's gotten on me for a couple different things. Just knowing who I am as a player. I'm more of a gritty, like, run everything hard, and he's seen me dog it a couple times before, so he's gotten on me a couple times.
So he's established you're a guy that gets kicked in the butt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a pretty cool moment for him to tell me, and he gave me a hug. We were laughing after the fact, and I didn't really know what to do at first. And Stevie, our clubby, was like, "You should probably call your parents, man." I'm like, "Yeah, probably should do that." So I called them. Funny thing is like it's a work day, so like they didn't pick up right away, and I'm like, "Guys, answer the phone," And then they
Who'd you talk to first?
My dad, which was a pretty cool moment. He kind of got choked up, and I was trying to hold my emotions in, so that was pretty cool. And then it was funny because he wasn't actually working at the time; he was walking. I was on a walk, and he had just got home, and that's when he gave me a call back. And then my mom walked downstairs, like my dad called her down, and we had a conversation together, which was really special. So it wasn't like two separate calls or anything like that, which was cool.
Yeah, through the years, I always talk about the call up it's a family thing because it's parents, it's grandparents,
Right.
it's brothers, it's sisters, it becomes wives and girlfriends. Like so many people help get you to this point.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a really, really cool moment for sure.
And when you come up, we're starting to see, and we see this every so often here in Oakland, where you have a group of guys kind of come up together.
Right.
So you've played with Geloff,
Yeah.
and you've played with Butler,
Mhm.
and you've played with these guys, and you probably played with Shea Langoliers before, right?
Yeah, I think a stint in the 2022 season.
Yeah.
I
So
caught
you
Shea,
guys have
yeah.
kind of like played together.
Right.
When you get here, you get in that sense that there's a core being built here.
Right. Yeah. It's we got a good group for sure. It's a fun group, and I think we're gonna shock some people this year for sure.
All right, I'm being sold that you can play every position. That all of a sudden, Bobby Crosby's trying to sell me that you can play every position, and you play every position. It looks like you're natural there.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal.
That's really hard to do.
Yeah, it is. I take pride in it. In I think it was 21, I came up to AA, and they had a kind of a packed infield at the time, and they had wanted to try me in center field, and I was like, you know what, throw it at me. I played I played left and right field before that, like whether that was in Vermont for like a couple days or Beloit for a couple days here and there, but it was never like a sure thing. So 2021 was really when I like started playing in the outfield a lot more, and got more comfortable with it since then.
Okay, right now where you are, because some guys, everybody grows up at shortstop, everybody grows up middle infield because the best athletes are always put in the middle. But then certain guys like will go to, like Matt Chapman went to third base,
right?
And he's like, this is home for me, right?
Yeah.
Some guys go to the outfield. So right now where you are as a professional, what is your best spot?
I like to say short and second, just up the middle. Specifically, I was born an infielder, into the game, so I feel like that's kind of where I'm most comfortable. But I'm still learning. I'm still learning at every position, So it's talking with Emar, it's talking with Bob, and just figuring out like a good routine on a day-to-day basis to like perfect everything. At the end of the day, yeah.
How many gloves do you have and do you bring to the ballpark every day?
Just the two. Yeah, they're right over there, actually. The outfield glove, infield glove. I have spares just in case, one goes down and I need a replacement. But, yeah, just the two. And then, I don't know. I've played first base a couple weeks throughout my career at some point.
Have you caught?
I haven't caught at all. But when I was on the IL in 2022, and it's funny you say that because, I caught probably like 2-3 weeks of bullpens just because I was trying to help the team out. We were on the road for a week or so, and like, I don't know. It's tough when the catcher, I think we had all three catchers or something like that in the lineup one day. So I was like, I'll go to the bullpen. I got nothing better to do. So, yeah. So that,
Can you pitch?
No, probably not. My arm would hurt pretty bad, I feel like.
Because I'm thinking, is it Jose Oquendo who's the last one to do it with the Cardinals?
Yes, yeah.
Jose Oquendo. I know Bert Campaneris did it for the A's, legendary A, who won all the World Series.
Right.
But Jose Oquendo, I want to say in the 80s, early 90s with the Cardinals, who were in town, did every position in a game, all 9 positions.
Yeah, that's pretty stressful, I feel like. But I mean,
that'd be awesome.
It would be awesome. Yeah, it would be awesome. But knowing where you're supposed to go, and I mean, pitching, I feel like would be the the one I'd freak out about, just throwing a strike.
Just throw strikes, baby. Just throw strikes.
Yeah.
So you come up, obviously you weren't here at the start, but, we were all down spring training. And I tried to let all the fans know, listen, it's different. It's different than last year. The vibe is different. It's just going to be different. And then they come north and they stink it up on the first homestand, and we all look like liars, right? And like, no, it really is better than that. And then, of course, the road trip happens. You've been with this team. You've been with these guys at spring training. You knew the vibe was different.
Yep.
You're now here as they're starting to win. Just talk about what it's like in that clubhouse.
It's pretty special. Yeah. The guys are rolling. Everybody's got good vibes. Whether or not you have like a good or bad day, it doesn't matter. I feel like everybody's there to pick each other up and be there for you at the end of the day. So it feels pretty good right now when stringing some wins together.
Well, it's just, to me, it's confidence, right? Belief. Yeah. Talk about the belief. Like, these guys really do believe what they're doing now is the real deal.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about like that younger core that we have coming. And, I've seen it. I've seen the confidence in the minor leagues from these guys. And ultimately it's just finding that in the big leagues, and it's not always easy. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, I know I've seen it daily from these guys. They have that swag, they have that confidence in order to compete and do it.
Well, each week we do the Mark Kotze show.
Yeah.
So on Friday, I'm going to float it out there. One time during the year, let's say things kind of change. Let's say the record's not that great.
Right.
Why not have you every position? I'm going to float out there. I'm going to see what Kot says.
Yeah.
If I float out there, you cool with that? Like,
sure.
Hey, why not?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Give it to him. I'd like to see what he says.
Well, hey, we got to see you in spring.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's a great moment. Congratulations to you and your family. Really special.
Yeah.
And enjoy every moment.
I appreciate
the world's
Chris.
your oyster, as they like to say.
That's right, I guess.
We got Chip Caray coming up next right here on A's Cast Live.
Whether it's a midweek trip to the ballpark to catch a game or a weekend of baseball for the family, grab your tickets for an A's game this season. Secure your seats today for all the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more. Don't miss out on all the things happening this season.
Throws and set. It's a drive into center. It's deep, and Straw is back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
So grab yours now at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
You deserve extra. Extra Mile is where you get it. You don't just deserve breakfast. You deserve extra fresh Mile 1 coffee just the way you like it. You deserve more than a quick bite. You deserve an extra satisfying array of hot foods, extra good snacks, and fountain drinks that help you go the extra mile. Plus, with Extra Mile rewards, you can earn free stuff. Visit Extra Mile at select Chevron and Texaco locations. See program terms and conditions for details. With the sunshine returning, it's time for golf, and more golf at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Cinnabar Hills is also your destination for great food with their beautiful renovated restaurant and quality craft beer selection at their full bar. Featuring a grass driving range and 27 championship caliber holes, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club is the best public course in the Bay Area. For more information, go to cinnabarhills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland, and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
You're listening to A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, this man really needs no introduction. We usually say the voice, but in TV, you're really the face. And Cardinals come to town. It's great to have you on the program again. Normally, I'd be asking you about the Cardinals, but really, this isn't about the Cardinals. And I remember when you were with the Braves.
Sure.
And you've been always so good to us, even like during the World Series run, you're always so good to us. Talking about your kids, and we're like, oh yeah, your twins. It's a great story. There was that story in The Athletic and everything, and who knew one of them would be our new TV guy, Chris Caray.
Man, what a blessing. We're in the same boat. We're thrilled, excited, humbled, grateful. I mean, when you see your kid think about a dream, then pursue the dream, and that dream comes true, and it happens when they're 24 years old. I mean, that really is the stuff of fairy tales.
Yeah.
And for him and for us, it's incredible. Chris worked hard and wanted to do this from the time he was in high school. Our game is trending younger, as we all know, and there's always a place for talented, hardworking, genuine people. And so we're grateful to NBC Sports. We're grateful to the A's for giving him his first chance. And who would have known that his fourth big league game behind the mic, he gets to face off with his old man.
I mean, it's story.
Yeah, it's
right.
It's
I mean, it's like you couldn't write. I mean, the only thing would have been better if you would have been here this past 3 games. But I just, what was it like? Because you're both your sons tried. They tried for the job.
Right.
Chris ended up winning it. What was it like when you got the phone call and hearing that your son was going to be not only doing, because he's only done radio, he's getting the TV job.
Yeah. I think we were all on pins and needles because he and his brother Stefan had interviewed so well for the job. And as you know, there's 30 of these.
Yeah.
It wasn't a case where Chris's talent was so superior to Stefan's or Stefan was so inferior to Chris. It was the A's wanted pistachio and Stefan was Neapolitan, if I can put it in those simple terms.
As this fan base knows, I have twins, right?
Okay, so
they're about to graduate from high school. And so I've talked about it. It's
when one has a success, you don't want to feel like you're rubbing it in the face of the other.
Yeah.
And that was really, really hard. But that said, no one was a bigger cheerleader or happier for his brother than Stefan was. So Chris's agent called. He was asking, if you have to go to the West Coast, where would you live? What kind of cable service would you want? Would you buy a place or would you rent a place? And Chris said, look, I'm in no mindset to talk about these things. And his agent said, well, you better start thinking quickly because they offered you the job. And this was 2 days before he thought he was going to find out. So his agent played a great trick on him. His face dropped. He said, I got the job, and we all heard that, and we all just jumped at home, opened up a bottle of champagne and sprayed it on him and made a big celebration out of it because it is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, your first big league job when it's your dream. And, again, the fact that it's A's, where Harry broadcast for a year, that it's far away from mom and dad is good, that he's away from his brother and can grow on his own is a really, really great thing. So, like I said, blessed and humbled and happy are just a few of the adjectives I would use.
Yeah, you got to fit. This is your daughter in Los Angeles. You got a few kids out here out west.
Yeah, I'm not moving out here. That ain't happening. But yeah, she's in LA doing great. Chris is out here. Stefan, I'm sure, will get the call hopefully next year somewhere. And believe it or not, we have a 15-year-old son that loves broadcasting. He takes the iPad out and watches the games and broadcasts too. So for whatever reason, it's what we can do. It's not particularly important. It's a lot of fun. But the fact that people have been so supportive of us collectively and individually is really, really humbling.
Yeah, I think about your father's legendary career. You know, the Carays are basically the superstations, right? That was what's kind of made your family different. Is obviously Harry became the huge star on WGN, your father on TBS. How do you think they'd feel about their grandsons getting into the business and getting a job like
Well,
this?
my standard line is I hope they're looking down and not up and are beaming with pride.
No, come on.
But no, I think they'd be very proud.
Yeah.
You know, my parents divorced, my grandparents were divorced. And so the fact that my wife and I have been together now 28 years and we've raised our kids, they know me, they know my job, they know the emotional roller coaster that goes along with the season, the exit when the season starts and the reentry when the season's over. Those things are hard. They've seen that firsthand, which I think gives them a real leg up as they start this business, because there aren't many sons who do this job following in their father's footsteps. But that said, you know, I think that Harry would be really proud. He didn't know much about family growing up. He was sort of an orphan, if you will, and didn't really understand the importance of family and how much he meant to his children until he was much later in life. And I think that seeing his son do what he did at the time he did it was an incredible accomplishment and an incredible source of pride back in the 50s and 40s. The fact that I did it and followed my dad and saw the missteps that he made in his life and didn't repeat those, I think made him very proud. And the fact that my kids are doing what I do as well is incredibly humbling, because it isn't the easiest of lives. It's a great life, but they've wanted to do it and they've pursued it their own way and they're doing it their own way. So it's amazing.
Well, I think about all the advice you want to give your child, but at the same time, they've got to, you know, throw them in the deep end of the pool and let them swim. So how much, especially from the TV standpoint, forget the radio standpoint, this is brand new for Chris. How much of the TV advice did you give him?
He asked me a little bit of it. And in Amarillo, they did some simulcasting, so they got a taste of the TV stuff, but it was always tied to and paired with a radio broadcast, so it's not the same. I think he just is one of those kids, and Stefan too, that just has an innate understanding of how it works. We're roughly the same age. I think their generation grew up with televised sports. We grew up in the radio era.
Yeah.
All of us talk too much. You can tell I like to talk, but we grew up in an era where we lived through the radio broadcast, and I think that's personally carried over into the way I do things. They grew up in a television and movie era and cell phones and short video clips. I think that's innately helpful to them as they start their careers in our business with this younger generation. I think in that way it's probably easier for them to talk less than to talk more. And really the only advice I ever gave them was be yourself. Don't try to be Skip. Don't try to be Harry. Certainly don't try to be me. You've got to be Chris Caray, because the fans that are watching you. They're not watching a copy of you. And if you're genuine and you lay it all out there and you do a good job and work hard, people will hopefully accept what you do.
It's a great point that you make, that we can watch everything anytime we want or watch it back. You know, when I first started my career at the sports station here at KMBR, the Giants, they only had like 96 games that were on television.
Right.
Like most teams had less than 100 games on TV. You had to listen to the radio.
Well, and it's funny too. Life evolves, right? You know, people were talking about this sort of thing with Dick Tracy, the cartoons in the 1930s, and here it is. Same story. My dad actually recreated games on the ticker tape when he started. His
Dunk.
Right, right, exactly. I mean, he worked his first team he covered was the Atlanta Crackers in the Southern League. His manager was Jack McKeon.
Wow.
Trader Jack was his first minor league manager when they were in the South Atlantic League. And he went from recreating games on the ticker tape to doing games on a satellite across the country every single night on TBS. What's happening in our business now is the same thing. It's gone from radio and TV and compartmentalized games to, as you said, I can be in Hong Kong and watch the Oakland A's or the St. Louis Cardinals with a cell phone no matter where I am. And that's the kind of reach that these jobs have. And I think, again, their generation's uniquely positioned to take advantage of that.
I bet you know more about the A's now than you've ever known about the A's.
He talks an awful lot about his beloved A's. He's really happy. He's really excited about your team. And I hope your fans are too. This is great. I know last year was a disaster in so many ways, horrible. It was that way for us in St. Louis, not on the scale that Oakland fans went through. But I've said to Chris, there's nothing more exciting and fun than being a young broadcaster with a young team. You get a chance to grow with them. And as your players make mistakes, the broadcast people make mistakes too. You learn from those things and you grow in a low-stress environment. Still the major leagues, but you grow together and see where it takes you. And I can't wait for that to happen, not just for Chris, but for the A's too.
You know, just one thing on the Cardinals. I said it yesterday after the game that in my lifetime, basically the Cardinals have always been pretty good.
Yeah.
If not winning World Series, being competitive. You go back to, the Hall of Famers. It's one of the great American sports organizations. Right now, though, where are the Cardinals? Looks like a little, Arenado's not off to a great start. Goldschmidt's not off to a great start. Where are the little light on offense? How are the Cardinals doing?
Well, first of all, we're a better team than we've shown at 7-9. There are 4 or 5 games the Cardinals could have won with one big hit. They haven't hit with runners in scoring position. That's a big problem. And let's be honest, if Goldschmidt and Arenado don't produce in those spots, it's going to be a struggle for the Cardinals. They've got 3 very young players at the bottom of their order. Victor Scott II, who is the second coming of Ricky Henderson on the base paths, and I don't say that with any kind of hyperbole whatsoever. This kid has 9 speed on a 1 to 8 scale. He can really fly. Problem is he can't get on base enough. That's something that they're hoping will change. Jordan Walker is 22 years old. He's hit 18 home runs last year. Everything's on the ground right now. Mason Wynn's our shortstop. He's 22 years old. So you've got 3 really, really young players surrounded by this veteran core that you're hoping will be, again, carrying the theme of passing torches. That's the trio that the Cardinals want to take this thing forward in 2024 and beyond. We're a better team. We're pitching well. Getting Sonny Gray back, who we'll see tonight, is a huge lift for him. Our bullpen has been very good. And I think the Cardinals have a reasonable chance of winning the division and getting in the playoffs and having a chance to win a series, and who knows after that.
Weren't you around the Orlando Magic years ago?
Like Chris, I was an expansion broadcaster. I was 24 years old.
I want you to think back. Who would have thought back then Orlando Magic, and here you would be in Oakland, California, talking about your son?
It's amazing.
Doing television.
Yeah, I certainly not me. My dad said, if you want to go to law school or go to medical school, which were two things I thought about doing, do it. He did not push me into the business. It was the same way for Chris and Stefan. If you guys want to do this, great. I'll help you however I can. But you've got to decide you want to do it. And if you do, go for it. And they have. But no, I never in my wildest imagination thinking of while I was watching Sidney Green and Terry Catledge and Jerry Ice Reynolds with the Orlando Magic in 1989 that I would still have a job, or that I'd have kids who would have a job. Look, when I did the Magic, I think their first year they won 15 games.
Yeah.
I was worse than the team. And I can promise you, if Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff had been around, I'd be selling Toyotas and not talking about baseball for a living.
Well, I can tell you, my kids are about to go to college. I'm like, you're going to business school.
You're
going to business. You're going to get into the business school.
Are they going in state?
Yes, they are.
Oh, well, that's an even smarter move.
Both my kids got into Cal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Wife has the brains, huh?
Yeah. She was the one that made it all happen. Clearly, you see it wasn't me. I get it. It's like always funny, and let you go on this. You're always like, people's like, so which one's your favorite twin? And I go, well, depends on the week.
Well, for me, it's the one that picks up the check. Last night, I got to tell you this. Last night,
he picked up the check.
No, Mom and Dad.
He's got big league money now. He's got NBC paying for it.
Just saying.
You still have to pay for it?
I paid last night. He said, "Oh yeah, I got to get over the bridge and get home. It's a long drive. We got a lot of work to do." So he did the Irish goodbye.
Yeah.
But no, I say it in jest. We're thrilled to be
Wife's
out here.
here.
My wife's here. She's going to be in the booth crying her eyes out for his open, which is great. So this is about his moment in the sun. I've had mine, but to be able to bask in the afterglow, so to speak, with him and all the kind things that you all have done for him means a lot to our family and the fans too. We're really, really, really grateful.
Well, down in spring training, and it was funny. It was like, you don't know how good your dad's been to us, so I'm going to make sure.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, because, all the years with the Braves, even during your guys' World Series run, you came on with us.
Hey, you know what? Our job is simple in this. We're here to sell the game. You're passionate about it. You're passionate about the A's. You're passionate about baseball and the future and where everything's going to go. I'm the same way. I love the game. I love talking about it. I love to talk about it with like-minded people. And the greatest gift we can give is to pass along that love to people who watch the game, whether they're in our family or not. And that's the way I approach it. And hopefully my kids will do the same here.
One of the legends in our game when it comes to broadcasting, and you'll see his son tonight on NBC Sports California. We continue to remember Ken Holtzman next, right here on A's Cast Live. This is Chris Townsend. I'm proud to announce our year 2 partnership with Link Soul. They've changed my wardrobe, and they can do the same for you. And right now, their spring collection is fabulous. Natural fabrics and versatile styles, perfect for this time of the year. And they want to introduce their performance line for golf, premium for on-course apparel design, and to keep you cool and dry. Check it all out, linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com. Remember, look good, play good.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
If you haven't been to the Chicken Pie Shop in Walnut Creek, what are you waiting for? You're going to love the new menu, and it's a great place to watch all the games. Come taste their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. They have a new spring menu with special dishes and a full bar with new delicious spring cocktails. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next corporate party or birthday celebration. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Nestled in the hills of San Jose, minutes from Silicon Valley, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club offers 27 holes of championship golf, a first-class pro shop, practice facility, and great food in the grill. This time of year also means family and business get-togethers. Let the folks at Cinnabar Hills make your event unforgettable while enjoying their award-winning venue. It's all there for you. Championship golf, a great space for any events, and incredible food. See it all at CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
Whether it's a midweek trip to the ballpark to catch a game or a weekend of baseball for the family, grab your tickets for an A's game this season. Secure your seats today for all the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more. Don't miss out on all the things happening this season.
Rose and Seth. It's a drive into center. It's deep, and Straw is back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
So grab yours now at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
You deserve extra. Extra Mile is where you get it. You don't just deserve breakfast. You deserve extra fresh Mile 1 coffee just the way you like it. You deserve more than a quick bite. You deserve an extra satisfying array of hot foods, extra good snacks, and fountain drinks that help you go the extra mile. Plus, with Extra Mile rewards, you can earn free stuff. Visit Extra Mile at select Chevron and Texaco locations. See program terms and conditions for details.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Streaming from Ricky Henderson Field, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Wow, all of a sudden, it's like we're in a different world. The sun just went down. Welcome to doing live streaming from the Coliseum, still here in spring.
It's cold.
Yeah, you gotta, how you dress for these games, it's because it was smoking hot, and then now it gets cold, and then it's going to get real cold.
Yeah, really cold.
The great David Feldman joins us here.
Hi, Towny.
How are you?
A little bummed, a little sad. Yeah.
And our resident A's historian, I mean, on this day we're honoring Jackie Robinson, and we talk about everything that Jackie Robinson, I always like to talk about Jackie, the way he changed society, the way he changed the United States of America and baseball. To give you a little history, Jackie Robinson in his first at-bat grounded out to my grandfather.
Wow.
That's the Boston
cool.
Braves.
Yeah.
But it just the history and what Jackie Robinson did for this country. But obviously, on today, we're going to honor Ken Holtzman, who is one of the great A's of all time. There's no denying it.
No, he was part of the original big three of A's starters with Catfish and Vida, and it breaks my heart to think they're all gone now. and Ray. Yeah, it's sad. And, this year with what's happening in the A's leaving the Coliseum and just being down on the field and looking out at this field and all these players that do these marvelous feats on this same field. And it's just sad that those are disappearing, that they're going to leave, because I can look down the left field line here. That's where Ken Holtzman hit a home run in the World Series. And that hasn't changed. Yes, Mount Davis has changed. But where the foul poles are, that's the same. That's the same place. And it's, we're losing this, and we're losing a little bit of our history. And that's why I'm glad that we're able to talk about them, and you're able to talk about them with other players to keep their memories alive, because they need to be. People need to know about these players that came before. And Ken Holtzman maybe didn't get his due like Catfish and Vida. But for his 4 seasons with the A's, he never won less than 18 games. He pitched almost 300 innings every season. He made between 37 and 40 starts every season.
37 to 40. Look up Baseball Reference.
He started game 1 of all 3 World Series in the 70s, 72, 73, 74. Started game 1. Started game 7 in 73, won game 7. The things that he did, and you look back at his numbers in that era, and then you go, he never received 1 Cy Young vote. Never won. How is that even possible? You talk about somebody who was just not thought of as this great pitcher, and the A's don't win 3 World Series championships without Ken Holtzman.
Oh, there's no question. And it's happened before in our game where you can be an outstanding player, but the players around you, their celebrity, their stardom, because people do need to remember by this point, 71, Vida Blue becomes an American sports star.
Yep.
Reggie Jackson's Reggie Jackson. I mean, he's coming into his prime. He's winning an MVP. Sal Bando's an all-star player. Catfish Hunter's known as one of the best pitchers. You got Rollie Fingers in the mustache. I mean, there's stars around him, and it's happened with other teams before. There's been great players. Like, I just think of the last Yankee when they were winning those World Series. You could be someone like, I don't know, Bernie Williams. You're a great player, maybe a Hall of Fame player, but you're not, because you had all these other guys around you.
You have these huge personalities that you're surrounded by, and you're just the guy who took the ball every 4th day and gave and gave the A's a chance to win. And the other thing, Ray Fosse would talk about it, that Holtzman loved to work fast.
Yeah,
he loved to throw fastballs and work fast. Ray would, start giving signs, and Ken would say, no, I'm throwing fastballs. Just sit back there. Just sit back there. And he would try and get out in an hour and 36 minutes. That was his goal every game. When he was with the Cubs, he threw 2 no-hitters.
Mm-hmm.
He comes to Oakland. He almost throws a 3rd in 1975. 2 outs in the 9th against the Tigers. At this point, only Sandy Koufax, I believe, had thrown 3 or more no-hitters. Fly ball to center. Now, depending on who you talk to, Billy North, the center fielder, either lost it in the sun or he took a step in and misjudged it and the ball flew over his head. Most people think he screwed up the play.
As an official scorer, how do you rule it?
Unfortunately, misjudgments are not errors. So it would be a hit, but it cost him a 3rd no-hitter, 2 outs in the 9th. And looking at some younger Ken Holtzman, when he first got called up in his first year, he went up against Sandy Koufax. Okay, now
this is a big deal.
Sandy Koufax is the Jewish left-handed pitcher, the greatest really Jewish player, Jewish pitcher. Hank Greenberg was before him as a hitter. Sandy Koufax as a pitcher. He went up against Sandy and took a no-hitter in the 9th in that game before losing, but still beating Sandy Koufax. And I think on this day of all days with Jackie Robinson and representation, and I know what's a white kid from the suburbs talking about representation, but I was a white Jewish kid in the suburbs, and we didn't have a lot of sports heroes, and I was, Sandy Koufax had already retired. I had heard stories. I didn't know. But Ken Holtzman was real. And I knew about Ken Holtzman. I met Ken Holtzman when I was 5 years old. He came to our synagogue in Walnut Creek. He was not ashamed of his Jewishness. He wasn't, a devout religious person, but he was Jewish. And that was part of who he was. And for me, it was like, wow, that's a Jewish Major League player. There's a chance, right? And now it's definitely much more common. But representation, and we talk about it a lot. And even for, like I said, little white kid in the suburbs, it meant something to me.
I think about yesteryear players. I don't know how much we do it now, but they used to do it a lot, especially when we were kids. You'd have a great player from yesteryear. It was always going to be, who's the next Willie Mays, right? And if you're a young African-American player, let's say like an Eric Davis, is he the next Willie Mays? So here you have Ken Holtzman. I remember I did the interview with him. I did 2 interviews with him, one in the dugout. This was not that long ago because he wasn't doing well. Right. I don't remember what, probably was around 13, 14, somewhere in there. We were honoring them. And you could tell by the interview, he's a super bright guy. He had great personality. And I remember talking to him. We did this long interview, and he talked about the pressure of being Jewish and being a pitcher and having to be the next Sandy Koufax.
Exactly.
So, I mean, think about the pressure of being the next Willie Mays. He has this on him to be the next Sandy Koufax, and he felt that when he was in Chicago.
How could you not, right? I mean, Sandy Koufax was so unbelievably good, right? And his career gets cut short because of injuries, and he goes off on this high note. And now you're a left-handed pitcher who happens to be Jewish. You're going to get compared to Sandy Koufax. And Ken Holtzman was really good. He was good for the Cubs. He was part of that 69 Cubs team that unfortunately blew the NL East, but he was part of that, and he had a really good season. But the pressure to feel that, I think part of that getting traded to the A's before the 72 season, he didn't feel that here. I don't think that was ever really a thing as much as it was in Chicago because, as you talked about, he came into this team with all these huge personalities already, and he could just kind of sneak in. If you watch the 72 World Series highlight film, right, everybody's got mustaches and the beards. That's where it all started. Ken Holtzman was clean shaven in 72. Now, he grew his mustache to get the $300 for mustache day.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. But he did shave it after that. It wasn't until the next year where he grew it. And it was a damn fine mustache that he sported in the following seasons.
Now, I learned something today. So when we were going to have Rollie on, because she makes that happen, teacher Page, and she goes, you got to ask him about Ken Holtzman teaching Rollie Fingers how to play bridge.
Yeah.
So I didn't even bring it up yet. Rollie brought it up because they were roommates. And Rollie talked about Ken taught him how to play bridge and that they would actually look in the paper to see where bridge groups would meet, and they would go beat up on old ladies playing bridge. I mean, you can't make this up.
No.
The 70s was just a different
It's
world.
crazy. You know what other favorite Ken Holtzman thing? And talk about World Series films again. Go back and look at the 74 World Series film, Game 4, where Ken Holtzman hits that home run I mentioned earlier. The last American League pitcher did a home run in the World Series, Ken Holtzman. Now, Ken Holtzman threw left-handed, but he batted right-handed. It's like Ricky. Threw left, bat right. Now, the DH was already in there, second year of the DH, so Ken Holtzman never batted during the regular season. He comes up to bat because the helmet manufacturers thought he was a left-handed hitter. His ear flap is on his right ear. And this was like the first year ear flaps were mandated. He's batting up there right-handed, and the ear flap's on the wrong ear. And you watch him hit the homer, run the bases, and you know something's looking odd. He homers. Unbelievable.
Coming up here in A's Total Access, we will replay an interview. Obviously, very emotional with Ray being gone. We're going to play Ray interviewing Ken Holtzman and how they both homered in the same World Series.
Yeah.
We will have that for you coming up here on A's Total Access. We're going to honor the 74 team, and what's sad, I mean, I don't know how many times we'll honor this group of players again.
Yeah.
I think, by the way, we did Vita Blue's last interview.
Yes.
Because he was here we did the interview here on A's Cast Live, and it was just after that he passed. I mean, it's hard to believe.
It is. You know, for the longest time, the 89 team actually had lost more players than the early 70s teams. And it was just, with Dave Henderson and Tony Phillips and Bob Welch. It was just so sad. And unfortunately, the guys in the 70s are now getting older, and they're getting to that age. So it's so important that this year, especially for the 74 team, that we honor them and really bask in the glory that what they did and what they brought to Oakland. And that 74 team, in my opinion, that was the best A's team. That is when they were rolling at their best by the postseason, because they were all healthy. And they had injuries in 72. No Reggie in 72. 73, they had no Billy North. 74, they were healthy. That season in 74, they used 9 pitchers for all but 11 2/3 innings the entire season. 9. We sometimes use 9 in a game now.
No.
In the postseason, they used 5 pitchers for the entire postseason. 5. It was incredible, but that team just rolled. That was your classic A's team. Catfish, Vita, Ken Holtzman, Blue Moon, Rollie, Gene Tennis, Ray Fosse, Dick Green, Bert Campaneris, Sal Bando, Joe Rudy, Billy North, Reggie Jackson, a very young Claudel Washington. And this was the team. And I think it's going to be great to honor them. And we really in this last year at the Coliseum. We have to soak it all in and take every moment of it.
That's why we wanted to have Dave Stewart on today and have you on, because both you guys, these guys were your team growing up.
That was it. I mean, I was just being down here again. I hate to get emotional again, but
it's going to be emotional, my friend. It's going to be emotional.
But, I mean,
have you heard the post game? I got people crying on post game these days.
I've spent my whole life here. When I was 5 years old, when I came to my first game in 1973, that's where my baseball consciousness began, right? And it's never left. And I come here. I mean, how many home games have I missed in 50 some years? Very few. And this is where I go every day. And to think that I'm not going to be able to come here, it's hard to take.
Yeah. I've spent a lot of time here myself. And I thought, doing the last Raider game was tough. I can't imagine what the last A's game is going to be tough. And to go through it, I thought, I didn't think I'd go through it again. And now here we are. We're about to do it all over again.
And I know the stadium and the Coliseum gets a bad rap. It doesn't get talked about like Fenway and Wrigley Field. But you're talking about the fifth oldest baseball stadium being used right now, and how many of the great players since 1968 have played here, right? They have all played here, and there was all these great moments, and that's part of it. I mean, we used to talk about it when you went to Fenway, right? And you'd walk up the little runway to the field. Babe Ruth walked on these same steps. Lou Gehrig walked on the
Ty Cobb,
and then we talk about here. That was every Hall of Famer since Mickey Mantle walked down this visiting walkway in 1968 with the Yankees. He was playing first base for the Yankees in 1968. But starting from there, Willie Mays in the World Series walked down these steps. Every great player, every Hall of Famer from 1968 has walked in this field. And it's just it needs more love. It needs to get the attention to that it's not getting, because greatness has happened here, and we've seen it all over the last 50 some years.
And all the great football players.
Incredible football
Some of the
players.
greatest football games.
The moments, right? See your hands. Unreal. Happened right over here. Right over here. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable to think about.
Yeah, it's going to be like right now. I want to sell this team doing well. I want to sell the excitement, and I know I get to be it's early. Well, you know what? Screw you, it's early. I had to go through some really bad years the past couple of years. I want to enjoy it. This is the entertainment business. We should be able to enjoy it. I enjoy these kids. It's been fun watching them grow. It was fun to be down there at spring training with their energy. It's good to see them playing good again. And hopefully they keep this going and entertain us throughout the season so we know what the future is going to look like. But there's going to be, that first post-game show after the Sacramento announcement, we had people crying on the air. I mean, it's going to be like that throughout the year. The people like yourself, you're going to choke up. It's going to be tough. And we're going to deal with that throughout the entire year. But there can be the memories, there can be joy, there can be hurt, there can be but there's going to be a lot of emotions, no question.
A lot of emotions, and I'm happy for the way the team is playing now and looking to go on the upside, and that's the history of the A's, right? They're either the worst team or they're one of the best teams, and we're starting to see, hopefully, that this is leading the A's back to where they deserve to be, and that's fun, and that's going to make this year a lot easier, I think, if they're winning. More than, I know sometimes it's mixed emotions for sure. And I understand people who don't want to come out to the ballpark. I 100% get it. But the people who do come out here, they're out here because they want to be. And I'm hoping they're going to see a good product the rest of the summer. They're going to be excited by what they're seeing. They're seeing Major League Baseball played at a high level, which we've seen so far in the last 3 series. This A's team, when you get starting pitching, you always play a lot better when you get good starting pitching. And that's what they're getting for the most part. And they're playing hard. The errors have gone away. That first homestand, I heard you talk about it before. Hopefully it's just gone. We can just wipe that away, and this can be a very competitive team the rest of the way, and that's going to make this year a little easier to take.
Since April 3rd, the Athletics have the 6th best ERA for starters at 2.91. For the bullpen, it's the 3rd best ERA at 2.16. Just the way Ken Holtzman would have loved it. Good pitching and defense. By the way, I went to Eric Martin's today. And I just went up to him. I said, "Hey, do you know who has turned the most double plays in Major League Baseball?" He had no idea. No. I went, 22.
I will tell you this, and people, we talk about what's the biggest difference in these teams, and I was saying it a week ago, it's turning double plays. Last year, they could not turn a double play to save their lives. Well, there was Tony Kemp or Lednis Diaz. They could not turn double plays, and now they're doing it on the regular. And what a difference it makes, right? So many less batters you have to face because you're getting outs. Yeah, some people, well, they're turning a lot of double plays because there's a lot of base runners. Sure. but they're getting out of those innings because they're able to make the defensive plays. To me, that is by far the biggest difference of this team to last year.
Yeah, I look at the Marlins and the White Sox in their start this year, and I watched on MLB Network today them just ripping the White Sox. I know exactly what that feels like. That was us last year. So it's like, let's have some fun with this right now. Cody, how much time do we have left? I have completely lost track.
We have about 10 minutes.
We have 10 minutes. I just thought of the last top 10 list of the season should be the top 10 moments in Coliseum history.
Oof. Wow. Having to keep it to 10 is going to be tough, right?
Bob Melvin would say day on the green.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, top 10. Well, you'll have your honorable mention.
Yeah, we have a lot of them. Maybe that'd be a whole show, the ones that didn't make the top 10.
Your top 10.
Man, the days on the green, that's a good call. There's a lot of great days on the green here. The posters, Z's probably got photos of all of them somewhere. You can bring those out.
Seeing Ruiz here today, top 10 controversial moves. This is a controversial move. Like the fan base, it's a head scratcher because is he a perfect player? No. Very few players are. But he can help you win. And if you're saying you're in the business to win some games, it's an interesting call.
Yeah, are the A's holding him to a higher standard than they are to other players? Yes, his skill is running and speed, and he has to get on base for that to happen. But if you're another player, don't want to mention names, not getting on base, well, what good are you?
And have no speed.
I mean, why are we holding Ruiz to this? And I heard Mark Kotze today on the Mad Dog on today talking about Ruiz and talking about, well, we didn't like his swing. We made some changes. I watch every at bat. You know what? And from me, just watching him play when he was up here, he was giving you that extra element that this team could use. Now, I'm not a big fan that stolen bases lead to winning. They don't. That's been proven. Ricky Henderson stole 130 bases for the 1982 A's. 1982 A's did not win. But what they do is put pressure on the defense. And they bring excitement to the team. And there is energy that they bring. And they can help lead, not by the stolen base itself, but the threat of the stolen base lead to success. And with the team and having an athletic team, we saw with the Red Sox, they're much more athletic now. I think that's something that the A's lack a little bit. And it would be a welcome addition if Ruiz is back in the lineup.
Well, this is going to be the last year at the Coliseum for the A's, and the last year that we know it, NFL and Major League Baseball. It's going to be important for you as our historian to give us a lot of good lists on the way out. To do it, because people are going to wait till the very end. And I think we should do more than that. I think our fan base deserves more than that.
Yeah, and for me, it's very cathartic for me to talk about it and remember it. Remember experiencing things here and the feelings I've had here, and got a lot of emotions in this ballpark. 1988, Game 5, I'm crying in the left field bleachers. Gone, just lost it all, couldn't handle it. And then you go to other games like 2012 when they celebrate on Monday night and they celebrate on Wednesday, and Hamilton drops the ball, and that's just an unbelievable feeling of bliss. So, yeah, let's relive it.
We get you ready for A's baseball next, right here on A's Cast Live. This is Chris Townsend. I'm proud to announce our year 2 partnership with Link Soul. They've changed my wardrobe, and they can do the same for you. And right now, their spring collection is fabulous. Natural fabrics and versatile styles, perfect for this time of the year. And they want to introduce their performance line for golf, premium for on-course apparel design, and to keep you cool and dry. Check it all out, linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com. Remember, look good, play good.
Whether it's a midweek trip to the ballpark to catch a game or a weekend of baseball for the family, grab your tickets for an A's game this season. Secure your seats today for all the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more. Don't miss out on all the things happening this season.
Rose and Seth. It's a drive into center. It's deep, and Straw is back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
So grab yours now at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
If you haven't been to the Chicken Pie Shop in Walnut Creek, what are you waiting for? You're going to love the new menu, and it's a great place to watch all the games. Come taste their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. They have a new spring menu with special dishes and a full bar with new delicious spring cocktails. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next corporate party or birthday celebration. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland, and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep.
Become an A's insider today. Visit athletics.com/newsletter and sign up to receive the latest team highlights, up-to-date news, features, and more, all delivered free to your inbox. That's athletics.com/newsletter.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
With the sunshine returning, it's time for golf, and more golf at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Cinnabar Hills is also your destination for great food with their beautiful renovated restaurant and quality craft beer selection at their full bar. Featuring a grass driving range and 27 championship caliber holes, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club is the best public course in the Bay Area. For more information, go to cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
You deserve extra. Extra Mile is where you get it. You don't just deserve breakfast. You deserve extra fresh Mile 1 coffee just the way you like it. You deserve more than a quick bite. You deserve an extra satisfying array of hot foods, extra good snacks, and fountain drinks that help you go the extra mile. Plus, with Extra Mile rewards, you can earn free stuff. Visit Extra Mile at select Chevron and Texaco locations. See program terms and conditions for details.
Now back to A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
It's been a good day because I think we've honored Ken Holtzman correctly, and we'll continue to honor him in A's Total Access. You know, one thing that I have learned as I've gotten older and had to deal with death, and I'm not trying to be morbid, but like, you know, with the passing of my parents and everything, it's you'd want to be honored. You know, Ken Holtzman lived a good life, and I'm sure Ken Holtzman would want to be honored. He wouldn't want you to be sad. Remember me for the good. Remember me the great things that I did.
Yeah, for sure. I've never actually thought about that. What happens whenever I go? Hopefully, I have a long time.
It's always Commander Cody bringing it back to himself.
But no, you're right, though. I mean, I don't know. Because some people think, I don't know. There's a lot of people that think about things like that a lot. I mean, that's
as you get older, you start to think about that. And just, you know, we wanted to honor Ray Fosse correctly. We wanted to honor the Captain Sal Bando, Vida Blue. These are legends of our organization. And it doesn't matter what city you're in, the legends will always be the legends. And these are men that are a huge part of the fabric of the 70s in Major League Baseball, which was a great decade in Major League Baseball. They won 3 straight World Series in the decade of the 70s. And that's why you always talk about you can't tell the history of baseball without talking about the A's, whether it's in Philadelphia or then here in Oakland. You could skip Kansas City.
Yeah.
But those guys all kind of were raised in
Yeah.
Kansas City, right? And the craziness of Charlie Finley and the fact that here's a man that ran an organization in a different city in the Midwest with no internet, with no cell phones, and he built a team, owned a team, built a team that won 3 straight World Series. And as crazy he was, he did build this collection of players. But the fact that we are losing these players is really sad. Thank God we still have someone like Rollie Fingers who can come on and talk about what Ken Holtzman meant to these teams, being his roommate, having the fun story about teaching him how to play bridge and how they were go to city to beat up on elderly women playing bridge. I mean, it's a great story. Let's remember Ken Holtzman, and the 2 times I got to interview him, he was a great guy. Great guy. And you think of a wonderful pitcher and a big game pitcher.
Yeah, and I listened to the interview that we'll play on Ace Total Access with him and Ray Fosse, and it's really good. And it's short, but they get to a lot of stuff in there. They talk about the home run. They talk about Ken Holtzman wanting to pitch an hour and 36 minutes and all that, like how the game's different now. I don't remember what year that interview's from. I just searched it in the folder I have of Fosse audio, and it popped up, and I was like, this is perfect. We either replay it or we have to use it on pregame today. So you'll hear that on Ace Total Access come up in Ace Total Access in 15 minutes.
They were a group that was very tight. And people go, wait a minute, they fought all the time. Well, brothers fight all the time. That's what happens with brothers. But we would see it with these reunions when they got together. Like when we saw, would be the last time Vita Blue saw Reggie Jackson. When we saw them, and they hadn't seen each other in a while, and to see them embrace, you could see, and we were so blessed to have Ray in our lives every day, right? We got to have Ray every day. These other guys, we didn't have that. But when you'd see Ray interact with these guys.
I just, to this day, so remember when we're sitting here in the same spot, before we had video, we're just doing audio, and Ray comes on, Towny!
Every day.
While we're on the air, it's Ray Fosse. What are you going to do, tell him no?
Reggie would always come when the Yankees, he was an advisor for the Yankees, and whenever the Yankees would come to town, Reggie would show up, and to see always Reggie and Ray, and I mean, these guys traveled the country. They won championships. It was a special time.
Yeah. So I think I agree with you. I think we did it very well honoring Ken Holtzman with Rollie, with Stu, with
and
Feldman.
It's Jackie Robinson Day.
Yeah.
And what Jackie has meant to the United States of America, what he meant to changing people's minds, changing so many different aspects of our country. Like I said, the United States military had not integrated yet. Baseball integrated before. It helped Jackie Robinson helped change the United States military. I mean, Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier in baseball did so much for our country. And the fact that we honor him today and what it means to people and what it means to Dave Stewart. So if you didn't get to hear Dave Stewart, we will replay Dave Stewart coming up here also on A's Total Access.
And if you're watching real quick, this is the giveaway shirt you'll get today, the Jackie Robinson shirt you'll get at the game tonight. So hopefully we'll see you out here. I think we did a great job honoring Jackie and remembering Ken Holtzman today. And tomorrow we'll talk about hopefully what was that, 7 of 9 if the A's can pull
and
it
how
off.
about Max Schuemann?
Yeah, he was
a little nervous to come on the program. You can tell. It's cute.
Oh, by the way, Andrew Romine did it in 2017. Last guy to play all 9 positions in a game.
What year?
2017.
Cots, we got a guy.
Yeah.
Got a guy.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
If this was last year and there was the way the year went last year, he could have been a Schuemann to play.
Oh my, that
I'm going to see myself out on that one.
I'm not going to end on that because that is so bad. But I think it's also we got to mention for the Carays.
Oh yes,
Mama Caray. It's going to be very emotional around Chip's wife, Chris's mom. They're going to be very proud. Going to be a special night. The Carays both broadcasting the game on television. Chip for the Cardinals, Chris for us on NBC Sports California. We want to thank everybody for watching A's Cast Live. Don't forget tomorrow, Paul Blackburn. I've already saw Paul Blackburn.
Confirmed. Paulie Winde.
Paulie ground ball.
That's right. We came with that.
Paulie ground ball. I told him you better be ready to be fantastic.
We're going to have Eno Saris tomorrow here.
The great Eno Saris.
And I'm going to work on trying to get Sonny Gray for us.
Sonny's going tonight. No excuses.
Yeah.
No excuses.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for watching A's Cast Live and for listening to A's Cast Live on A's Cast. Coming up next, A's Total Access as we get you ready for A's baseball, Game 1 of the Cardinals and the Athletics right here on A's Cast and the A's Radio Network.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Whether it's a midweek trip to the ballpark that gets...
This has been a presentation of the Oakland Athletics.